Welcome back for another episode of the RADelaide Summit podcast. This week's episode, we cover the man behind our track team's Olympic gold, the woman behind the same man. Half of Adelaide has a birthday on the same day.
Yes, we do.
Race results and recap, and of course more. Come along for the ride.
Now, if you're new to the podcast and haven't listened before, each week we scour the Strava leaderboards, watching you do your efforts up Northern Summit and discuss them here on the pod. I was going to say dismiss them, but we will discuss them here on the podcast, whether we like it or not. There's a chance we might shame you, but we promise not to name you personally, and the odds are high we'll probably shame ourselves because we're not as fast as you. Look, at the end of the day, our goal is to encourage and celebrate everyone going up Adelaide's best hill climb, Northern Summit, and reaching their goals. So with that, let's introduce ourselves. We are your Summiteers. Alex.
Hello.
Deck the balls.
G'day.
Michelle.
Hello.
And I'm the Wang. Welcome, guys, and welcome, listeners, to another RADelaide Summit podcast.
Yes, as always, we need to know what's been happening on or around the summit this week, starting with you, Mr. Deck the Balls. What have you been up to? Where have you been?
Well, I haven't been up the summit, that's for sure. What have I done this week? A little bit of work and a little bit of family time, and then been right out of my comfort zone and
Glamping.
Yes. Well, someone told me it was camping, but there was no way I was sleeping that close to the ground at all. So, luckily, I knew a great guy that took a caravan, and I managed to sleep on the couch in the caravan, camping.
Better than swagging, that's for sure.
Yeah. I haven't got my head around that. No.
I don't think I could do it. I don't own a swag. I don't think I'd bother trying.
No.
Just be laying this.
Impossible. So where was the camping? What was the occasion?
It was... What's Moff's name? Moff Divers.
What's Moff's name?
Moff Divers' 50th camping weekend birthday away.
Oh.
So, and we were down... Marion Bay way. I've never been that far.
It's nice
down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Shenanigans take place?
Well I mean...
Tell him what you told me before.
What happens on the trip stays on the trip, right?
Oh, well, there goes the rest of the pod.
Look, I was there. No, there was a couple of sober people, actually.
Was there?
Yeah, out of 18.
You and
I was one of them.
Yeah.
You've got all the footage for later.
Yeah, there's a bit of footage. But look, it's fair to say I did a fair amount of walking in the sand dunes. Yeah, and I may have had my cycling shoes on.
Why would you... I don't understand why riding the sand dunes is a good idea in the first place.
I didn't really...
Because he doesn't like his feet getting dirty.
We're on a bit of an expedition, and we thought it might have been good. Well, not all of us thought it might be good, but to do a bit of beach riding.
Right.
And... maybe you should have Ollie Anderson on this podcast because he was the only one that seen me get taken out by a wave on my bike.
Which too close to the water.
Well, you had to ride close to the water,
so it was hard compact.
and because that was the most compact part, and I was struggling to keep my feet clipped in. So I was clipped in. I was going pretty slow at one stage, and this one wave hit me, and I thought, oh, that's no good. And the second wave hit me, and it knocked me straight over and underwater. And I was...
Did anyone get that recorded? Because I'd pay to see it.
Well, it's recorded in Ollie's brain.
Was he just pissing himself laughing?
He was pissing himself laughing. And I may have... I cracked the shits. I didn't have a sulk. Many people thought I had a bit of a sulk, but I got out of the water because I thought... All I was thinking about was, that's going to stuff me phone and me bike.
Yeah.
And I got out of the water pretty quick. And then I sat down and I thought, I cannot deal with this water. And so I just turned the other way and walked straight up towards the sand dunes, which I didn't really realise they were sand dunes. I just thought, because
this weird mountain.
Well, yeah, one of the guys had said, no, that's all farmland up there. So I thought, farmland, I'll be able to ride on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we may have spent Well, actually, a few riders kept going, and then 2 riders followed me, Ollie being one of them, and Hogues the other.
I did see Hogan's Strava.
Yeah, and
you might have got a bit lost.
Yes. So we were very lost, and we were walking for a good maybe hour and a half in the sand dunes.
Oh, far out.
With me nimble shoes on. So
oh no, not the nimbles.
I am the new ambassador for Nimble because they are the go anywhere, do anything shoe.
They're not the white ones.
The white ones.
Oh no.
What bikes were you riding?
Gravel bikes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Gravel.
BHG Sparrow.
It was either a Caledonia I had.
Caledonia.
It was either a fishing or gravel riding weekend. So I
Yeah.
reckon half the group was fishing and
Yeah.
the other half.
Sure, Shano caught a few squid. Decent sized
Shano
squid.
was probably about the only one that caught something.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Apart from a cold. Someone else.
Well, someone will catch a cold out of that for sure.
In the
Someone
water.
sleeping in that those, what are they called? Swags.
Swags.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not for me. So,
Did you race Tuesday night? You did, didn't you?
I did race Tuesday
did.
night. Yeah.
and big lead out.
A big
I
lead out.
yelled at him. He was a bit too close to the front halfway through the race. Said, you're a bit close to the front, Timmy. Get to the back.
It's coming. It's coming. just slowly working on it.
It's good numbers out there Tuesday night.
That was
Yeah,
good.
great numbers Tuesday.
Now the V8s are back.
Yeah, be missing for a week. What is it? A month?
Month, yeah.
Back in December.
No, giving back for a month.
What about you, Michelle? What's happened this week?
Oh, my life was probably a little not as interesting. I worked and attended to our kids, and then I had a really peaceful weekend because Tim was off glamping.
Walking in sand.
And then, like true form, as soon as he gets back, it all turns to carnage. But, so, I might follow his comment and say what happens at home stays at home. But,
or in the car.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Someone's walking home.
As I
Nimble
said,
shoes with
you
you?
go from love him to smother him. But,
Do you need a lift home? Timmy?
I might need a lift home.
We'll go to the pub first. Very good. Nothing else happened? Basketball with the boys? That basketball
yeah,
during the week?
Ozzy had basketball yesterday, and he had quite a good game actually. And then the other one had friend over, so just
Friend over,
walking
bit of
out,
gaming.
chatting, bit of gaming, and yep.
No, they watched
bit
the
of,
UFC, didn't they?
Yeah, fine.
He loves the UFC.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, that's about the extent of my excitement.
Training. We did basketball training and then took Aussie road training today.
Hey, who got the punny? You or Aussie?
No. We were with a couple of one of the kids he races
yeah.
with, and his father. So
Oh.
Jack.
Oh, with Jack and Matt, yeah.
Yeah, and Matt.
Yep,
So
they got the punny.
Matt had a couple of punnies. Yeah,
Couple of punnies. New tyres. Time for new tyres, Matt.
that's what he said.
So, did you take him up there? Did you do the Torrens Road again?
We went, along the Torrens. Always sort of stick on the Torrens to start with to stay away from the traffic
So,
with the young boys.
cars, yep.
And then got them onto Gorge Road and had their experience of going up the Gorge Road climb to the dam and coming back
Oh, they
down.
went all the way.
Yeah, all the way
nice.
up the Gorge Road climb and
Yep.
a bit of descending. So, yeah, I mean, they're both 12 now and just
Yep.
trying to develop their experiences of being on the road and going uphill and coming downhill as well.
They can handle the Gorge Road. They can handle any road.
Yeah.
Pretty bad going down there.
Tim couldn't a few years back because his head would show you.
Yeah, we spoke about that on the last podcast. We spoke about that on the last podcast.
Mic drop.
Very good.
Got me.
All right, what did
Come on, hit us with some stats, mate.
What did I do? Nah, just the usual. What did I get out? 810k this week, so 22 and a half hours. So pretty standard week, as we all know. So worked 5 days as well. So believe it or not, had a work conference on Monday that was Friday that was all virtual. Fuck, that was boring as fuck. Just falling asleep.
Well, you would have been. Surely you were on the ergo.
No,
as
had
part
to
of
have had to have cameras and microphones on.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have been on Zwift.
Yeah, for sure.
Or laying down, but no, had to actually show some interest. So Monday was just some Zwift for work and lunchtime, and then just a ride after work. broke my Garmin. It fell off for the second time. So Timmy come to the rescue and was lending me one. Something did happen though, is it did upload some of the rides onto my stats that were on there. And I was like,
no wonder you got 810k.
Yeah.
hang on a minute. How
Did he hit
all of a
40,000
sudden got
for the
almost
year?
40,000k for the year? And I had to go through all the rides and it was like all Connor's motor pace and the pre-Olympics that uploaded. So I had to go and delete those rides. So thankfully Garmin are replacing it under warranty. So Tuesday, Wednesday, much of the same. Did the giving back at the crits on Tuesday night. Got Alex on board this time. Although I'm not sure he was doing much of watching the racing. He was apparently on a good corner where there was lots of runners and was quite distracted. So
I was just learning how to run.
almost let a few dogs on the course. So Wednesday, I was out at the Vets racing as well.
Yeah, the Vets. That was actually a good night.
Vets handicap.
Vets handicap around a crit circuit worked out.
It was good.
Reasonably well.
Thursday, Friday, much of the same. Yesterday, just rode down to Chop and then just did Norton, then back down for coffee and then just hung out with Nate in the Arvo. Then went to dinner last night with my old man and Geordie, the OG Hotel, if you want a good snitty, close to you guys.
I was going to say that's right up the road.
1990, snitty and a palmy and pint in the sports bar. And they were hanging off the plate. So they were good. So every night of the week, check it out. So and then today had state titles, Masters state titles out at Mount Torrens. I won't say I took the dub because there was only two people in my race. So
You were first across the line.
but he was
Can only beat who's there on the day.
Yeah, he was 26 minutes behind, but that's okay.
Really?
Yeah,
Come on.
I didn't even know he was there, to be honest. Sorry, whoever you are. And
Easy. Don't rub it in. Come on, mate. How about you come back next week and kick? Yeah.
next week.
Matt, we'll ride with you next week.
Well,
yeah?
Imagine if another master wins next week.
Yeah.
So, defending champion's not in there, is he?
Yeah, no.
He's a sandbagger. So.
Easy.
And then snuck in a massage on the way here. So yeah, that's my week. So what about yourself, Alex?
Well, we haven't been here for a couple of weeks. I just wanted to make mention. We had old Jim Bob from the Backside Potty come and do an echelon session with me last Wednesday.
He's a good man.
He's a very good man. He's got quite an FTP.
460, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't 460.
Oh, you just put it in there.
380, but
Is that all?
he did struggle a little bit with the higher power sprints. And I forgot to tell you this the other day. I went up to him and I was like, hey, Jim Bob, you can put the power down if you want to. And the look, cut me. Like, don't you ever. So I let him be.
Jim Bob's from
Brizzy.
From Brizzy with the Backside Potty.
Oh, yeah.
He does that with Freebie up in Queensland.
Yeah.
But he's doing some work down here at the moment.
Yeah.
So
And then we went and had a bit of a celebratory.
you wined and dined him.
Wined and dined him, yep. What else? We gave back on Tuesday night. I did almost let a dog get out on the course. This was a fashion parade, funnily enough, so I got distracted.
On a Jane Highway.
On a Jane Highway, yeah, that's it. And then today went out for a bit, and I broke a bit off of my cleat that just hits the pedal when you clip out.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It was like. It was sloppy,
Mine-
the
mine-
thing
Shimano?
with, like the
Shimano?
appendage, big hole, like.
Yes, I know that feeling.
Ouch.
It was pretty annoying by the time we got back to the government house.
Well, your government house. What was that? What was the occasion?
We had the Breakthrough Foundation big ride today for mental health.
Yep.
Talk a little bit more about that later. But in total for the week, still not 100% health-wise, but 6 hours bike, 2 gym sessions and plunge. Pretty happy. Things moving forward.
Friday night, you didn't have any
Nothing
complaints
happened.
from the neighbours or anything
no
on Friday
complaints
night?
from the neighbours.
Oh,
no, they know me.
I've got a video that might say otherwise that I might put on the socials
I was
later
testing
on.
the scooter to make sure it was right for motor pacing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Who are you motor pacing?
No one.
No,
Oh.
he was just doing burnouts under his pergola. Smoke coming off of it.
Anyway, moving on. We've got some questions for you two, and they do start around two-wheeled things. Michelle, how many bikes does Tim own?
Probably depends on how many. You could rephrase that. How many has he told me about? Because I just found another one yesterday. It's funny you say that.
Yesterday. I wasn't home yesterday.
Exactly.
Oh, well, when did you leave? Friday.
Got a delivery.
I said to him, did I know about that one? He goes, yeah, with this smug look.
Okay, should we
I
do,
did tell you
like a
that. I
3,
did
2,
tell
1
you
and you
that.
both say the number?
I would have a fair idea.
Would you?
I reckon we'd be at 20, maybe 21.
Oh, well,
That's just the
I
ones
was
that are
sort
in
of
your
going to
house.
keep it at around 19, just under 20.
Well, you were at 18 a while back, and you've definitely you've got your new
Yeah, well, I
one
got
that
my
you
new
got
one.
your pride and joy in.
Yeah. It's me pride and joy. It's me tribute. Tribute.
Righto, mate.
S5 tribute.
So we're going to say 21.
21. Okay.
This week, anyway.
This week.
Yeah.
If he goes away a bit longer, I might start selling some off.
Don't go away too often.
Barcode's in there and start scanning them, get a bit of inventory and stock going on.
Oh no, I don't keep the shed that clean. So you know what I mean? That's the
way you
goal,
do it. Yeah, I
absolutely.
like it.
That's the secret.
Oh, I just gave it away, didn't I?
Yeah, exactly.
I just pick my battles.
All right, so 21 was that. Anyway, what do you do with your time when Tim is out riding bike 7 of 32?
Doing the 99% of everything else that needs doing.
Vibes are out.
What's 7 of 32? Never heard.
Bike
Bike
7
number
of 32.
7 of 32.
Yeah, so we're saying you got
right.
32 bikes.
Yeah, all right.
That's the number I thought you were going to give. We'll go with 21.
So just keeping the house afloat.
I do whatever I need to. I work, I take kids to appointments, I do school drop-off, I do...
I'll make the lunches.
When you're home.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, when I'm home.
That was my
Yeah.
specialty as well,
Yeah.
making lunches.
Yeah.
I just make them all on the Monday and then they're done.
And then you know the day he needs to train a lot because he'll come in to me and go, "You're right for lunch." He'd normally ask, but then the day he needs to leave, he'll be like, "You're right for lunch today, aren't you?" And I'm
Or you
like,
do
"It
lunch
sounds
orders."
like I'm right
like
for
I am.
lunch
Lunch orders
today."
or you're right for lunch.
Lunch
You can
order.
have it. You can have
Yeah.
have your own lunch order today.
So, look, obviously I'm well rehearsed with him being away, so life just rolls on and it's a bit of a bonus if
Would
he
you
rocks
say it
in the
rolls
door.
on more smoothly?
Hey, come on, lads. Where's this going?
Definitely more predictable. Yes, look, in order for things to run when he's not here, I have to have systems in place because we don't have family in this state.
Yep.
But it certainly takes a village. I have a lot of supportive friends from school and cycling. So, yes, I do need to keep a very good regiment of how things roll so that everything gets done.
Goes to
And
shit.
then he will normally... You took the words out of my mouth, Matt.
No, just
and then he'll come back...
testing the systems is what we're doing.
Well, you kind of know because there's all of a sudden there's
Another bike
a
coming.
lane of bags that are kind of half unpacked or just thrown on the floor, and then you can tell he's gone to the kitchen and turned the light on and the cupboard's left open, and you kind of
just standard
see where he's gone. But and then I kind of go, right, he's back. Yeah.
Easy, just at the end of this.
Yeah.
So speaking of being away, being the Aussie coach, you were a coach over in China.
Yep.
Yep. Did you learn Chinese?
Well, ni hao.
He said he would, but even they said it's too hard.
Oh, okay.
You had an interpreter.
Yeah, I had an interpreter, which was very handy, and it is it's a hard language.
complicated.
It's
Isn't there multiple
complicated.
Types of
Dialects
Japanese or
and...
whatever, yeah.
Yeah. So what I picked up is starting to understand the the feel of the conversation and that sort of stuff, and I could tell when things were good and when they weren't good. Those sorts of things really. I couldn't understand everything that was going on.
No.
But
Did that make coaching like that a little bit harder, obviously?
It made it more challenging, definitely. But it was an interesting time for me because it just made me think so much differently to the way I had been and how easy we'd we'd had it, like how easy it is for us to communicate and get something across, and how we take that for granted as well.
Because you were over there in the middle. It was middle of COVID as well.
Yeah, that was really tough. I
remember speaking to you and messaging you.
Yeah, and just the way they communicate, like WhatsApp's not an everyday thing, and so you wouldn't be, I'd be getting on my VPN to open the WhatsApp or other stuff and communicate back home, and so there was all those smaller challenges.
Yeah.
But it was good to experience that, and that really gave me an appreciation of everywhere you go, you have challenges, and it's just which ones you want to take on at the time, I guess. Yeah. So.
And so how long were you over there at a time, or was it in total?
Well, because of COVID, it ended up being in total. I didn't come home to Australia until late October that year, and left in February, sometime in February.
Yeah, right.
I reckon it was. Yeah.
How clean was the house?
I was much more rested. No. Oh, look, it certainly wasn't the plan, was it? I mean, the plan was that we would be going over and he would be coming home, but unfortunately that's not how that turned out with COVID, because their policies over there were far stricter.
Yeah, that was one of my questions, like the weird and wacky things you guys would have had to overcome with their, I guess, style of living and rules and regulations.
Because your lockdown, when you got there, was 21 was it 21 days?
Yeah, it was 3 weeks.
Yeah, in the hotel.
In a hotel.
Yeah. And they wouldn't even open the door to feed you.
No. I was getting in trouble if I put the garbage in the bin at the wrong times, like too early. So that's how regimented they are, and so they had.
That's how I am when you're away. So I'm all for that.
Yeah, or maybe I lost all my discipline through being there for the year, but they were very regimented at what time you had to have your COVID test, what time you had to put your garbage out, and it was all timed so that you weren't. You actually didn't see anybody. All I seen was like a masked person sticking a thing up my nose.
Up your nose, yeah.
And when I say sticking it up my nose, that
coming out the top of your top of your skull,
tickling your eyeball.
It was so I can't handle it. It felt like it was coming out my eardrums.
It's a bit like he's camping.
It was a very tough period to get through that.
Yeah. No windows.
No, there was one window.
One window?
Yeah, but I could only open it like an inch. And I did get they put a watt bike in my room.
Yep.
Thank God. I got sick of riding that. That was pretty uncomfortable after a while.
Yeah.
And then I started running from wall to wall.
How far was that?
Oh, yeah. It was pretty small. And but then they the food was a massive shock. I'm still struggling to.
I remember you
rice.
sending me some photos of the chicken's feet.
Yeah, there was chicken's feet and all that sort of stuff, which they are accustomed to eating.
Yeah, it's delicacy over there.
Yeah, and that they really know how to maximise, their food intake.
Yeah.
And I would say they're far more efficient than
no wastage.
Very efficient on how they operate in that area. But I would say that first 3 weeks, thank God, I started getting some deliveries.
Some Uber Eats.
Well, I mean, they don't call it Uber Eats there, but that's what it was like. Yeah. Yeah, wow. I had some good pizzas, let me tell you.
So what about for the two of you? You said you couldn't use WhatsApp very easily. Like, were you able to FaceTime or communicate, still be in touch?
Yeah. At nights. I mean, the good thing was the time zone
wasn't bad. Yeah.
Wasn't bad. So if I just VPN, then
the bigger challenge was probably because he couldn't go anywhere or do anything. In Australia, I still had to keep doing everything because obviously we didn't go over, we didn't move over, And so he would be ringing me like 5 times a day because he's bored.
Bored out of his brains.
And he'd get a bit shitty with me because I'd be like, yep, babe, yep, okay, look, yeah, can I call you back? And probably 2 hours later I'd ring him back. But, like, sadly, things still had to go on here. So it got a bit narky with me every now and then because like, I feel like you don't even care I've gone. And I'm like, well...
When you answered the phone and she said, what have you been up to? And he's like, I ran to the wall again.
Yeah.
I've got a PB.
PB. I mean, look, that was the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I think your excitement was showing me what he'd had for lunch that day, even though some of it was different.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think...
those quarantines were tough.
I was going to say that threw a massive spanner in the works, I think, because initially the whole idea was that we kind of planned times of the year that either we'd go over. Having said that, they were really good. When they went to Canada for one of the World Cups, I think it was, they flew myself and the kids over to Canada because their restrictions were different. So we went over there for 3 weeks and were at least able to see him there and meet the athletes, which was nice. And they were having some basketball with the boys.
That was actually really good.
Yeah.
We were out of China for, I think it was like 8-9 weeks. Well, it ended up being longer in total.
Because you couldn't get back in there.
Couldn't get back into China. And we spent 3 weeks in Abu Dhabi at 50 degrees.
At least their hotels are nice.
The hotels were amazing there. But
and you'd FaceTime me all the time. He'd be sitting at a table for one.
Yeah.
And so we'd put FaceTime on and just sit there showing me who's there. And I'm like, bit lonely, are you? Or...
Yeah, so we spent a good, I think it was nearly 11 or 12 weeks out of China because we got out and went to our first Nations Cup in Canada.
Yep.
And then knowing how tough it was going to be to get back in there, and they all had a visa for an extended period, so we actually stayed in Canada and trained, and that was where we had our best impact on getting them to learn how to train proper.
Yep.
So we did 7 weeks in Canada, and then went to Colombia for a World Cup there,
World Cup, yep.
And then went Colombia, Abu Dhabi, and then got stuck there until we got back into China.
Yep. So it was a bit of a blessing.
Yeah, it was good, and it was good that the family got to fly over, and there's 3 weeks there. I mean, the Chinese welcome.
Oh, those long flights with 2 kids were amazing. But
the Chinese welcomed.
They were
family.
awesome. Yeah. They really were.
They're very welcoming people.
They
were besotted with the kids, and
they love the kids.
Yeah.
What was different about getting the athletes, when you say their bigger impact, out of China versus when you were back in there?
Well, I would say the ability to train without as much restriction.
Yeah.
Because the COVID was still going on in China at that period. Like, we were in compound, so to get out of the compound to go road training and that, you had to apply for that every day.
Yeah, right.
So the compound, that had the velodrome in it. It was probably around 3 or 4K in there, and trying to think what else they had there. Fencing, so velodrome and fencing facility.
Right.
So it was pretty restricted, and we're in Beijing, but we're on the outer circle, like we're on the 5th ring of Beijing, between the 4th and 5th ring of Beijing. So getting out to train was okay, but it's not a great deal of roads there unless you get further out, sort of thing. So the ability just to be able to get up and do the things that we take for granted. Yeah, i.e., we're leaving at 8:30 in the morning, doing 150k. Getting them to understand that you could do that, and then we'll go to the gym in the Arvo, and they really relished in that. And it took them 3 weeks to probably understand it.
Yep.
And then we did 4 weeks of really good training, and then they were really good. It was the first time the Chinese have ever, in endurance, medalled at a Nations Cup, and we come away with 5 medals, 1 gold. I think it was 1 gold, 1 silver, and 3 bronzes Yeah. So it was pretty phenomenal across the group.
Yeah. And do you still keep in touch now?
Oh, some of the riders.
Yep.
Some of the riders
We had a
reach
couple
out.
from out here last year.
Yeah, a couple come out last year because
Or earlier in the year,
no, it was last year because we wanted to have a Category 2 track race.
Yep.
For UCI points. So to do that, you need other nations to come out. And the Tasmanian carnivals over Christmas had contacted me to see if I knew any internationals that could come. So I
I thought you were
contacted.
going to say Tasmania were coming up. That's not another country. Please don't write in.
So I contacted one of the athletes, and he brought out his Madison partner, and they did a good 6 weeks here or so. Really enjoyed it.
Here down in Two and Under.
Yeah, they did a couple of the crits, and they had a great time here. Jung.
That's him. Yeah, he was
Jung Zhuwei.
He was strong.
Yeah, very strong. He was actually he rode for Jumbo it was
That's right.
Lotto Jumbo. He rode for their development team.
Yep.
And did a year with Green Edge's development team. So he was one of the guys that had sort of broken the mould of being out of China and progressing. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Good. Well, moving forward for both of you, we're back in Australia. Tell us a little bit more about the lead up to this year's Olympics, the vibe, the team, the training. Did everything go to plan?
Whoa. I mean, what is a plan? Hey? The plan had to be very adaptable, and it had to be different to the last Olympics. And I think it was, what would I say? It was different stresses, but we had good knowledge, and our experience of, all the previous years, with Sam.
Yeah.
Long time in the national program, 2 years out of the national program as a professional road rider. Cal, 7 years in the national program, 2 years out as a pro, and then we had Connor, who's been in the national program for about 5 or 6 years, and Ollie and James come in reasonably late in the men's, and pretty similar in the women's, like Sophie forced her way into the Olympic team as well, and there was probably a couple of more established riders that had previously been, like George Baker and Alex Manley and Maeve Plouffe.
Yep.
So the plan for this Olympics was different. Like we had to try and achieve things in a much shorter period, and probably not fortunate. The ability to do that was because of what we'd done previously.
Yep.
So, all the load, the skills work, the time together, that all helped, and we had to just try and combine in the newer riders as well, and make sure that the pro riders were still on their game, training for the track and not going too far the other way. So, keeping up their gym work, a little bit of time on the track, and that sort of stuff. And it was about getting our athletes to that 10, 12-week mark before the games in as good a position as they could, and I mean health-wise, strength-wise, and that sort of stuff. Once I knew if we could get them to that 10, 12-week mark and they'd been healthy and, done some good work, then you can achieve a lot in that last 10 weeks. And certainly we achieved the maximum with the guys. We had a lot of challenges that we had to work through. And we didn't get the maximum out of the women, I don't think. We made a shift, so they did the fastest Australian female time by 1.5 seconds in qualifying.
Yep.
But we just didn't progress on from that. On their day, I think they're right up there with the potential to chase a medal, but it didn't work out this time, and there was a bit of missed opportunity or missed training. And when you're going into the Olympics, you can't
afford that.
You can't afford that. You got to be right on it. And as we've seen, the guys had a really good lead in, and it showed in their physical performance, but also their mindset as well, because they knew they'd got through 98.5% of the work.
Yeah. At what point leading up to the Olympics did you think that you could honestly challenge for gold?
Well, 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So after Tokyo.
Well, look, it's like this. After Tokyo, I knew that Sam and Cal and Connor had the knowledge of what they needed to do, or I believe they did.
Yep.
They had the knowledge to win an Olympic gold medal, what they needed to do. And then a year out of the program was good for me, because it sort of helped me heal and look forward and think a bit more. And then, I seen them at the World Championships later that year, and I sort of, I just had an instinct that it was these guys can win the Olympics.
Yep. And you needed to be back
but
to do it.
I needed to be back to help them along that journey, sort of thing. So, all of my instincts just said reapply for that job, try and win it back, and help lead. So, yeah. Had
things turned out different in Tokyo, you think you guys would have been fighting for the gold medal there as well?
Well, that's a hard one to answer, isn't it? Because Sam had sort of potentially Sam would have just maybe stayed on the road, because it might have been goal fulfilled.
Yep. Okay.
In and around the TP.
Yep.
And he was a big part of that TP team, not taking anything away from all the guys that had an impact on it, but they all know and understand, and everybody knows now after watching the Olympics the impact that Sam had on that team and what he's really capable of doing, and we didn't get to see that in Tokyo, so that was the driver. You can see that in the back of his head going, I haven't got it all out yet.
Yep.
But I'll tell you now, the last 50 metres coming up that finishing straight, I seen him get it all out. He got it out.
Got it out.
As Rocky once said, needs to get the beast out of the body, and Sambo, he emptied the tank and got the beast out, and it was phenomenal to see.
Thankfully, he didn't fall off his seat like the Pommies when he was emptying his tank. So.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, can we just get that out there? The seat did not break.
Right.
He was exhausted. He fell off it.
Yeah,
touched on that with Connor a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it was that was a man-on-mano.
Yeah.
And it was great sportsmanship to see that at the end between those two teams, and Sam and Ethan Hayter.
Yep.
And just acknowledging how hard it was and how deep they went, and the best team won.
Because Sam's last turn was his a 4-lap turn? His last turn was
his was 4.75.
Yeah, okay, and Hayter tried to do a 5-lapper, and that's what sent him over the edge.
Yeah,
literally.
I mean, everybody was on the edge.
Yeah. And
GB, to their credit, they come at us really hard, and we knew it was going to be a race. We'd in our mindset, we'd prepared that we had to win the gold medal on the third day. Day 3, and we'd done fatigue training on day 3.
Yeah.
and it come together, but they come at us, and they come at us really hard, and. It was. I know people say, I don't look composed, but it was actually great to watch them come past and then watch our team come past and just see this battle of how it was unfolding. And, you could see that everyone was on the edge, and obviously everyone's trying to get their fourth wheel rider to a point where they can finish, and without slowing down, so. It just showed that, Ethan Hayter had to take over at 5.25, so that their other riders were doing a great job at trying to match us, but they couldn't get him
there.
far enough in.
Yeah.
So-
But they'd also brought in an extra rider, hadn't they? You used the same 4.
Yeah, we had to use the same 4.
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
a reserve rider, P reserve rider, that we couldn't bring in unless someone was sick. They did have 5 riders that they were rotating through
Yeah,
the TP
and that's all got to do
days.
with qualifying spots, isn't it?
They used a rider from the road.
From the road, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas we didn't have that opportunity this Olympics to use one from the road. So we had to go with the same 4
Same
all the way through.
Yeah.
What about you, Michelle? How was the vibe for you with Timmy back here coaching and leading up to the Olympics?
I'm probably going to give a really different feel to
That's what we wanted.
No. Look, everyone looks and thinks, oh, how amazing, he's an Olympic coach and blah, blah, blah. But for those in the... Love you. For those in the background, though, it's probably... anybody that ever says to me, I always say, don't ever marry a coach. It requires a lot of support and patience, and I am a personality that I cannot just sit by and not do or say something, which can be my downfall sometimes. But
I think it's a good trait.
yeah, well, yeah. So watching what happened at Tokyo with those bars break was devastating. That was shattering. And just to think everything you sacrificed that whole time and then just like that it's gone. And I knew what he'd be feeling. So I was probably relieved, to be honest, when he decided that he wanted, as much as I knew it was going to be hard for us because we were going to be away from him, but I definitely think he needed that time to heal. It was definitely an era of a person that I won't say their name, but it was a very challenging 4 years. And 5 years, whatever it was. But
Extra long.
yeah, really long. But I think it was definitely the right thing to do. I think he got to experience a great bunch of people in China, and we're forever grateful for that. This Olympics was, for me, probably just as challenging. He'd had some challenging times leading into leaving for the Olympics, which I can't really go into, but it was hard to see him, learn some things before he had to leave and then see him go and think, God, who's going to support him when no one knows? And I ended up actually going over to Spain. I just wanted to be over there, to be honest.
Just a nice little holiday.
Pardon?
Just a nice little holiday.
Not particularly, because it was an absolute pain in my bum to have to go. But, for him, I wanted to make the effort because I think he needed some support, and to hear some of the challenges that had turned up that, again, probably a lot of people don't know about, but how that entire team and staff dealt with certain things. I think after they won, I just still remember sitting on the couch going, man, that guy's strong, like about Tim. I just think I could never, ever have gone through before what he had to go through in the Olympics. I had people messaging and ringing me, and one of the probably biggest downfalls I have is I can't stay off social media, and I should not read. I don't write anything on there. I'm smart enough not to put myself in that position, but to read some of the stuff that you read about that person who you would defend to the hilts. I had people that I've known for a really long time writing in, oh, God, I hope you realise people are saying you aren't going to finish any higher than 6th. And, I'd even heard certain rumours about there was staff saying that. And I was like, wow, like that.
Thanks,
how do you
guys.
even go into that?
Yeah.
Building confidence not only in your own abilities but your athletes as well. I always take the Olympic week off work. I don't do parties or anything. I just want to hide because, to be honest, it's probably one of the worst weeks because, as we all know in cycling, there's few and far between big wins. It's a lot of not wins, and So I'd put the kids to bed. They want to watch, but at the end of the day, it was a school week, and I just thought they can hear about it in the morning. We'll replay it.
The boys didn't get up for the final? You didn't wake them up?
No, well, Austin was dog tired. I let him go to bed, and I literally was. I had my. It sounds really gross. I had my phone sitting on the toilet.
Well, I was messaging you then.
Yeah, because I was literally thought I was going to throw up. I was so nervous. I'm trying to watch it, but then I'd retch, and I'm like, geez, Louise, what are you doing? But yeah, when they actually, like, obviously we all know it was so close during it. I'm pacing up and down my lounge at this point. Thought I'd better actually go and watch it on the telly, and yeah, once they won, I ran straight down because I knew Austin was in. Once he's asleep, he's out. I ran down to my elder son Cohen's room and burst in the door, scared the complete jiggers out of him. And I just burst into tears and said, they won. And he were like jumping up and down in his room. And then I kind of went out in the lounge room, and a couple of people were trying to call me. And to be honest, I didn't answer because I just wanted to feel that moment, because, again, there's so few that I just wanted to reap that up. And to be honest, all I wanted to do was see Tim's reaction as well. And I was really angry at him because as soon as they won, he furries off down into the middle of the track. And then I respect why he did that, but I wanted to see his reaction because, again, I'd seen him in such tough times recently, and I just wanted to see him be able to feel that sensation. Pardon?
He wanted it to be all about the boys, not about him.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it's all about the boys.
Oh, of course. But again, I mean, I'm biased, but, they can't do what they do without you either. So, and you can't do what you do without us.
I thought you were going to say them. That was a perfect
That is a mic drop. Boom.
Just on that, should the coaches get a medal? I know.
Look,
I know you got the one for him, but
yeah, I think that would be challenging because I think where do you draw the line? I mean, there's a lot of staff that go into it. You've got your strength and conditioning, you've got your dietitians, you've got the admin people that help make things happen, and I think that would get skills, yes. But people like Sean and who make a massive impact, and I think if you start giving one person a medal when it really is a team effort, it becomes a little bit... And look, nothing would warm my heart more than to be able to go, he's got that there for his kids and his future grandkids and whatnot to be able to see. But again, I think as long as they know, and we've got a lot of... videos, and we're in the age of everything's on social media now, so hopefully they'll be able to all see that. But yeah, I don't know how I feel. If I'm being selfish, hell yeah, let's give him a medal.
AFL coach, they're a similar setup. They've got so many coaches behind the scene, fitness staff, nutritionists, and only the head coach gets a medal when they win a premiership. Yeah,
but I think over the years I've definitely seen other people put a lot into it, and sometimes those staff don't even get to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, au revoir, bye-bye. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel half and half on that. I think it's a bit difficult when you've got a team effort, but...
I probably didn't have an opinion on that until I held Connor's medal the other day.
I
was like, holy shit.
How heavy they are.
Oh, and just like, what it represents. I'm just like, yeah.
Just the aura that comes from it.
Yeah. So, you need one.
He's got one. It's just not real. I was sliding on Insta and saw $40 and all these people were underneath it bagging it like, that's so wrong, people. They deserve those. And I'm thinking, well, yep, my husband does. So let me check that out and pay. Thank you.
20% off.
Awesome.
I wouldn't have noticed the difference. So
it's heavy.
It wasn't that frame. Now, is there such a thing as good and bad luck in high-level sport, or does it all come down to the preparation?
Got to put the work in.
You do got to...
Apart from Tokyo, that was bad luck.
You said something before about getting them to that 10 to 12 weeks out. I guess bad luck in that time, they might get sick or something or other. So there'd be an element of luck in terms of maybe general health, but like their preparation and stuff is up there.
Yeah.
I think that's the word, isn't it?
What I've seen over the 4 Olympics I've been to, you're not giving yourself the best opportunity to perform at your absolute best if, one, you don't look after your health, and that means making some big choices. I'm not going to call them sacrifices because I actually think they're choices. Mm-hmm. You make a choice whether you want to do one thing or another, and that could mean how many people you socialise with or how you socialise, all that sort of stuff. And how you look after yourself physically, so how you fuel yourself, after training, before training, during training, all those sorts of things are very important at that level.
Zinger's no good.
Look,
not at an Olympic level, no, man. Maybe in the Matland, but
there was one close to Paris. Right in Paris.
Yeah, so doing those things right are pretty important, and you have to get the work in. You have to get the work in. There's no hiding behind the physical side of things. I mean, because that helps build belief in yourself and the people around you, and that's what we focused on, building belief, not building confidence. Confidence is a bullshit word until you actually do something.
Yep.
You're like, I can do it, rather than I'm going to do it.
Correct.
Yeah, nice.
Correct. It's like, I mean, people hate when I say this, but perfectionism, perfect, what a crap word. Like, it's crap. It's bullshit. Because you just keep striving for perfection, but you don't really know what perfection is. It's only what you make your mind up.
What you perceive it is.
Yeah, what you perceive it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it what progress trumps perfection? Just keep on going.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's probably where these boys were really effective. They kept on going. Their preparation was good. They got, like I said, 98.5% done, I reckon. 98.5%. And that 1.5% was because of reasons out of their control. But they still did some work even though it was compromised. So
that's wild.
It's a big one. And look, at the Olympics, no one hides away from the fact now that you've got to have a good equipment package. You've got to have a good competitive bike and helmet and suit and all that sort of stuff.
And a lot of work went into that after Tokyo.
Yeah. There was a lot of work into our package, for sure. But
is it a good package, Michelle?
We're still.
Fuck. Can you be a little more specific on what that package entails?
Got a good package.
Come on.
Well, he's got me and the kids, so that's a pretty damn good package. So.
Not a package like the Wang, though, today.
No, about me. Alex trumped me.
Wow.
But, a lot of work went into it.
There's a lot of work went into it, but, we're still not there.
Yeah.
We're still not there. You got to keep progressing that all the time.
Who would you say has got the best aero package?
Oh, by far, GB.
Okay.
Yeah.
GB, and they still couldn't win.
I love that. No, they could not.
Maybe a bit of sandpaper on their seats next year or next Olympics.
They actually had chalk on their seat.
To grip.
Grip. So
sounds like a them problem, doesn't it?
Well, that was Tony Martin used to.
His TT.
He used to run sandpaper on his TT bike.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to add anything onto your equipment now.
Right. Yeah.
But somehow some chalk made it onto their seats, so
fell on there.
Yeah.
So both their skin suits, bikes, full aero package is the bomb.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's they have a great budget and they have great people that that help them with that.
Because their budget comes from the lottery over there, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They get a lot of their budget from the lottery. So have for years, and they've got a really good system in the way that they work for that. And we have our system, and we have to work through those. There's some good parts of it, and there's some boundaries that you've got to work around as well. So, yeah.
Well, we've spoken to most of the team since, haven't we? Clates, Connor, Kel in the past, and
Ollie. You need to get Ollie in.
Haven't had Ollie. Yeah, we'll get Ollie on.
But was there ever a point in time where you were like, "Oh, we are on"? Did it, or did you just we're just following the process, we're doing the work, and it was on the day, or did?
Oh no, the bits of both.
Yeah.
I reckon. There was a moment that the boys know about, which was about 2 weeks out, that really set the team up to be the team to win at the Olympics. Previous to that moment, the boys were on and they were riding fast, but they weren't riding as their best team. They weren't riding as their best team. And it took a bit of a shift about 2 weeks out to get that to come together.
When did you come to the decision of the final positions for the team? As in, who start 1, 2, 3, 4? Who starts?
Yeah,
that had to change, didn't it, Tim?
Yeah. We had a plan which we had to change. We had to adjust due to some issues that were going on.
Okay.
And so we trialled it. I'd sort of sat down and thought about it because in the last year, the vision that I had was maybe one of these two people could start, and this person fits well into second or third wheel. And I'd done a lot of playing around with their positions within the team to try and test everybody.
Yep.
And I knew exactly where I wanted to put Sam. So it was based around him finishing in anywhere between 3.75 and 4.25, 4.75 at max. If anyone's going over that, then they're right on the edge. So it was about working out the order of the other three, and we were trialling that, and it wasn't sort of coming together for a couple of different reasons. One was around speed, and two was, a little bit around the ability to execute well. So then I said, right, Kel, how about you try going in the gate, and we actually trialled it, and I said, I want you to finish to see how far we can go.
Yep.
And he did finish, but it hurt. And there's not too many starters that finish, right? But it was like when he finished, I looked at that and went, well, if he starts and doesn't finish and peels, and these two guys can hold Sam's wheel, we're going to go, at least 2 seconds faster. And that was because the whole mindset of what Kel could do could then change around how much he could deliver, and then it was like, right, you other two guys just have to deliver your turns and get on the back of Sam and hold the wheel. Yeah. And
sounds easy.
Just hold the wheel.
Just hold the wheel. I've told you that many times.
Just hold the wheel.
Whatever, champ.
It's very hard holding your wheel.
Harder holding Sam.
Anyway, so this was. We did a bit of a pre-race hit-out sort of thing. That was maybe 10 or 11 days out. And the boys come off the track and said, did we just ride that time?
Was that the flying 4K that you did?
No, this was a standing one.
Standing, yeah.
And I mean, part of the key to this was, they're all parts of the key to it, but Connor just went, Tim, that's the easiest TP I've ever done.
Yeah, right.
He was like, "Did we really just ride that fast, or are you just trying to
piss."
take the piss out of me?"
Yeah.
I said, "No, we went that fast."
Yeah.
And so, he started to believe, and we just went from there. And we, in the lead up, we had a couple of efforts that we were going to do, and we're on the track with Italy, and
Yeah, he mentioned that.
Connor was talking about that.
yeah, we did this hit out, and they were all out there.
They were with their garments lapping
with their
it.
garments
Yeah,
laughing and just like,
Yeah.
and it rattled them because
Yeah.
they come back pre-race day, and we did our pre-race hit out after coming off a day off the track, and we're a little bit dusty, but we were still fast, and that's the idea. All you're doing is a pre-race hit out. You don't win it that day.
No.
And then we watched them do theirs, and they were going a second over pace,
Yeah.
like full noise, and I'm thinking,
What are you guys doing?
what are you doing? Because you can't hold that tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they come out, and they were a bit rattled in qualified. That they underperformed in qualifying, qualified fourth, and then we got to race them, which was super.
That was my favourite part, to watch them in the pits. I wasn't necessarily watching the race. I loved the footage when it'd show them in the pits and panicking. Like you could see it on their face.
Because they were obviously the strong favourites going in. Everyone, Ghana and Milan. And
They're phenomenal athletes, those two.
We only got to see what Milan done at the Worlds.
Yeah.
First sub-4 IP.
Yeah.
Like,
They had strong riders, but we had the best and strongest team.
yeah.
We had the best team.
Yeah.
And I will go to the grave with that.
Please don't.
There's some strong riders, but we had the best team and the strongest overall team.
Michelle, do you see anything change in Tim when that sort of 10 to 12 days out, where he's get a bit excited, a bit confident, or is he still
belief, not confident?
Well, he's normally gone weeks before. So.
or the phone call, like the voiceover?
Look, we have a bit of an understanding, Tim and I, that when it's Olympic year, I know not to take things, to heart and whatnot, because he's got a job to do, and I don't want to interfere with that. And I know he's under a lot of stress, and more so this time round. There was, as I said, there were things that had happened prior to him going that added extra challenges, and I'd seen a change, and that's why I made the decision to go over to Spain just to touch base. But after it, we always have a bit of a laugh, because we know when he returns home, win or lose, I guess you could say, that it normally takes him a couple of weeks to settle back in. I always say he goes through that selfish mode of when they're away, he just worries about him, and he doesn't have to worry about anyone else when
sort of getting out of jail and then coming home,
Kinda.
having to readjust to.
Well,
he's just talking about us.
It's hotel jail, isn't it? You're so used to living in a hotel,
and we annoy the hell out of each other when he first comes home. I want to smother him, and I'm sure he wants to smother me. But
oh, never.
After a couple of weeks after that. I mean, it certainly helps when you win an Olympic gold medal. You're going to be a bit more upbeat. But
very much so.
Right.
I think probably the interesting thing is, so many people had written them off. And I think for me as well, it was just really nice to be able to go,
Fuck you.
Well,
Is that what you wanted to say? You can say it.
I think more than anything, I think it was
right out of my mouth.
going to try and get that back on track. I think it was more nice just for Tim to be able, for his mind and things, to go, there's a box ticked, and was certainly nice to see, especially for Cal and Sam, who had what happened to them at Tokyo. Just, and they made the decision to keep going for another one, and I think it was really nice to be able to see them glow in that as
reward.
well. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I have to be selfish and go, it was actually nice after the shit fest that is being married to a coach that's been in the national system and that for so long, to be able to actually go, Oh, that is all worth it sometimes.
Yeah, I guess with yourself as well, Michelle, not only a wife to Tim, but you're also like a mother to all of these athletes that come through the program as well.
Yeah, and I think too, we, again, all my family are back in Victoria, and as are Tim's, and they certainly become family because you haven't got your own around, and absolutely.
And they don't have theirs around either.
Yeah, exactly. And, back in the day, I've been, a junior world chaperone and a team manager of, state teams and things, and definitely you get to know them, and you deeply care about them, and I always call them our adoptive kids because, you definitely get attached to them, and you see why when, they win, and you got Cal who takes the time out of his day to give you a call and say thanks for everything that you do, and Tim wouldn't be able to do what he does without it and whatnot. So, it's nice to get a win, but
you'd expect that from Kel though.
Absolutely, and Sam too. Sam's a good egg as well. I've always had a pretty close bond with him as well, and especially the time Tim had his accident with his brain. It was, Sam was a big support during that time as well. So that was, it all counts at the end of the day. And as I said, it's nice, and especially for Connor and Ollie as well. I mean. I think for me it was just, having so many people having an opinion that they weren't going to do very well, and just for those athletes to know they followed the process and the process worked. So,
did you have any FOMO not being over there at the games?
I wouldn't want to be there, to be honest. And I say that with love, but it's so stressful. Like, I think for others, and again, I probably wonder if I'd feel different if I was in the parent of the athlete position.
Yep.
But when it's, you're the wife to the coach, and that is your income, that is, what feeds your own children and whatnot, and it's probably a little bit different with him too, because he's so passionate about the sport that I know it's not just about the paycheck for him. He just loves to see people.
What paycheck?
achieve
I was going to
their-
say.
It's in the shed.
It's another,
Definitely not about the paycheck.
probably another podcast, but anyway.
Cycling.
So I think it's
Well, you come to the Com Games in Brisbane.
Yep. So it was nice to have the boys there. They got to witness them be the first team to go under the 350 banner and broke the world record there, and that was nice for them to see. But I think stress-wise, it's just, as I said, I like to go and hibernate in my home, and it was quite surreal to think that they just won gold, and here I am sitting on the couch by myself kind of going, can't really ring my mum because it's like, whatever time it was, 3 o'clock or something.
2:30 in the morning or something.
It was a bit surreal, but nonetheless very satisfying.
So who were you more excited to see when you got back from the games? The dogs?
Yes.
Kids or
The dogs.
Michelle?
I had this conversation the other day.
Really?
There's the dogs.
Yeah.
No, sorry. There's the bikes.
We didn't have
the
this
dogs,
conversation.
the kids, then me. Well, I don't even know if I'm there, but
Of course you are.
those dogs, I
Just
tell you,
off the
they
podium.
go into mourning. He only went away for the weekend to go camping, and they sat on the couch looking out the
Waiting.
window, just waiting.
Yeah, sent me a photo. It was gold.
Just in the window waiting.
Yeah.
When's Dad home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gold. Have you ever come across any high maintenance athletes? You've never coached me, so it's okay. How do you
tried.
tried. And you gave up.
80 Ks before time
Tried.
What was that we got before lock?
86 Ks before
86k for a fucking national title. It's not about Ks. You didn't see the Zwift though in the morning. That was actually 120. So how do you manage them, and what makes a modern day athlete a star in your opinion?
Having them be high maintenance.
Well, the ability to... Everybody's high maintenance somewhere along the line. I mean, listen to Michelle just talk about me.
Yeah.
I was just pointing at you, so.
It's learning how to deal with the different ways that people operate at their best, and sometimes you nail it, and sometimes it's a challenge. If we're all the same, it'd be
Pretty boring.
Pretty boring and easy life.
Yes.
Who would win gold?
I think people probably forget, though, what a massive part of coaching that people management part is, though.
It's probably the biggest part.
That's the part I love the most.
It reminds me of when Cam Meyer rang you that time and he goes, I just want to apologise to you and thank you for all the time and effort you ever put into me because I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, Cam certainly high maintenance, but also
not high maintenance. I think he just expects a lot of himself.
Yeah, high performing, high expectations, high performing.
But with high performing comes high expectations.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And
that's what makes him good too.
Yeah. But I loved every minute of that. That I see that as the challenge.
Just makes the rewards,
Yeah, exactly.
so much sweeter. So
yeah, so of course, some are different. Some just get on with it or don't want to know about the complications. Some just say, "You tell me what to do, and I'll deliver it." We had one of those guys at the Olympics, maybe a couple of them. And then some you just got to manage a little bit differently. But that's the beauty of it. That's what I really love around it.
And I think too, we've got to remember some of those athletes, as much as I still call Sam and Cal kids. I mean, they are still really young in my eyes. And then you look at the likes of Ollie and that, and you got to remember they're humans first and foremost. And they've left their homes and different states and, they sometimes it's more out of uncertainty and fear sometimes. So you just got to be able to be there for them. And,
that's the biggest challenge to being human, isn't it? The uncertainty. And then you want to be an athlete on top of that. Like there was no certainty. Yeah, I had belief that we could win, but there was no certainty that was going to happen. And I tell all my athletes, if a coach is telling you, you're going to peak at that exact minute, that's a lie. It's a lie.
Well, they're guessing.
Yeah, they're feeding you bull.
Yeah. We'll do our best to get you at a great level in this period, but you have to be able to control your mindset and really understand what's going to make you tick to deliver at that time. And so a lot falls back on the athlete as well, and they've got to be responsible to control their mindset, to get the result. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful to watch. I will never forget the quote. Before qualifying, the boys in their huddle, we would had our little chat. They get up and they give each other a high five and a bit of a hug or a slap on the arse cheek. And I just went, you make sure you're doing that after this, not before it, right? That was my last words as they were walking up the steps onto the track.
Yep.
And Connor said to me that night, and Ollie, they were like, when you said that, then we went, shit, this is real. This is real. It was just like that. It was a comment in the moment, but it was like... It was like a bang, impactful...
Like a light bulb moment for him.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Make sure we're doing it after, not before, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
I think an important thing too is with athletes, and we say this all the time to them, don't take note of who's around you when you're doing really well. Everyone loves you and wants a party when you're doing really well. When you're not doing well and you're struggling, have a look who's around you then, because they're the ones you want to hold on to.
Friends. Yeah.
Thanks, Wayne.
look at you two.
Bromance.
Have you ever come across a super talented athlete, male or female, that maybe never did that belief and get going or get the accolades they deserved?
Yep. Yeah, there's... I mean, I shouldn't name names.
I don't need to name anyone
at all. There's been some very talented athletes that haven't been able to piece it together.
Yeah.
Mentally,
to get that next step. And then there's been some that aren't quite as talented but can piece it together and they get reward.
Yeah. But that's the difference between
good
and the bad, isn't it?
Otherwise, like Matt Sparnan should have been an Olympic champion.
I just liked Red Square. And,
He's just an ambassador for Cat.
yeah. Red Square,
Now he
Australia
is.
more so.
I mean, I'm looking for the F in that top there. You've got K and C. Yeah. You know, like super talented.
Yeah.
And he'll hate us telling this. Yeah. Super talented. Had the potential, but
just didn't piece it together.
just didn't piece it together at that time, you know.
We've worked it out now. He's just aero as fuck.
We've actually got a special announcement for you. It's not too late.
Wasn't good.
Your aero package.
Not good.
All right, finishing off with questions like, what's next for you guys? Like, what are you guys looking forward to together, inside, outside?
Will you be the next Olympic coach for the next cycle?
Well, that's still a
We don't
answer
know
that
yet.
we're working on. We're trying to work through that
Blows
answer.
my mind.
Yeah.
So Tim's contract's up in December, and
Yeah.
we still don't know if there is a position for him or not yet with Australia. So
So we're
Back to
working.
China.
anything's an option at the moment.
We're working through that process at the moment. It certainly has been a little different to what
You'd expect.
I had visioned in regards to winning an Olympic or being a coach of an Olympic gold medal team.
Yeah.
There's been some challenges for me and the family, and there'll be decisions that need to be made within the next 4 to 6 weeks around where to next, or what is next. But we'll do that as a family, won't we, Michelle? We'll do that.
Should you be the next coach? Are you going to have? Are you going to have the same riders? Do you think Sam? He won't go around again. You don't think? How old will he be?
He'd be 32.
32, yep.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say around Sam is to his credit, I seen him empty his tank.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I would not say he ever has to go around again if he didn't want to.
Yep.
Because what he did for himself and what he did
And
for Australia
Yep.
and his team was phenomenal. And that's not taking it away from any of the others, because all the others emptied their tank as well. But this was Sam's third Olympics.
Yep.
Right? Now, he's a professional road rider. He's paid a lot of money to win big sprints on the road, and and that will include being a part of the Tour de France in time. And the TP and winning sprints at the road at times they're a world apart.
Yeah. Yep.
So how much preparation can he put into that, or how much should he be putting into winning Tour de France stages, which I honestly believe he's one of the fastest sprinters in the world.
Yep.
But obviously you need a good lead out training and that sort of stuff. And it's similar with Kel's in that professional league as well, and he's probably more designed for the classics and looking more to be a classics rider. 265k road races.
Yeah. In filthy weather.
And up and down hills, and being able to ride at 380 watts for 6 hours or whatever it might be. Well, not quite that, but it's different to being able to do. You got to be able to do 700 watts for 30 seconds, and then you got to go back to 500 watts to recover, and then go back up to
recover. 500 to recover.
Yeah, and then go back up to 700. So, look, Kel could potentially go again.
Connor and
Ollie, that they should become, the Sam and Kel of the team for the next Olympics. And, Kel might take a little bit of time out to keep working on the road, and he might go, right, well, I'll focus more on bunch racing, because that might align more to what his preparation's doing on the road. These are conversations that we all still need to have yet, and debrief a little bit more. And, you got younger people coming through as well, so...
Keystone Jimmy, our teammate.
Matt Sparnan.
I've got the Masters Olympics, baby.
Oh, it won't be long. Masters Olympics. Someone will make it up.
I'm sure they will.
Speaking of young, we had some birthdays since the last podcast.
Wasn't young, yeah.
Kashi,
Griff,
Ryan. That's it?
Myself.
Oh, all on the
We're
same
all
day.
on the same day.
Oh, really?
Three of us right from the same team.
Three of us on the same team. Yeah, myself, Kashi and Griff all
So
on the
happy
same
birthday
day.
to you all.
Thank you.
A big party.
We've
50th.
traced it back to, if you're an October 26th, around that time, it's a Valentine's Day
Baby.
conception. Got lucky that year.
And also, as I mentioned earlier, I participated in the Breakthrough Foundation Big Right today, and they raised just over $25,000 for mental health research. There was a bunch of writers from last year. Got to meet some new people. Big shout out to Daniel, who I was bringing up at the back of the field, who also got a PB at the start of the ride up the freeway. Still had 80 Ks to go, so maybe went out a bit too hard, but he got there. And I met a few potty listeners, which was cool. We've inspired them to get out on the bike, so that's really cool.
That's what we're all about.
Yeah, so thank you guys.
Very good.
Well done.
All right, so let's jump right into it. The main reason why we exist is to let's see who's been spinning up the summit this week. Check out the times for the folks who've been giving us a show. It might be the fast guys, it may be the slow ones, it may even be everyone in between, but like we said, we'll dive into their rides and data a little bit more robustly, and then we'll see who and what has caught our eyes on the leaderboard for some hand-picked times and fun analysis. So, Timmy, you are going to take us through the fastest man and woman of the week.
Yes, I am.
This week.
And it certainly won't be Deck the Halls. Okay, the top male is with a time of 12 minutes 48.
Solid.
Well, that's pretty solid. And it's a draw. Is it a draw?
draw,
yeah.
Or did you go down to the...
No, it wasn't
Did we
a
get
draw.
to the...
This became alphabetical order.
Right. Rightio. Well, the top male was Spicy Noodle Boy. So you've taken it because of
And what was his? Has he got any watts or heart
No,
rate in
it's
there?
all hidden.
all hidden. Very, very well hidden. I mean, average speed of 25.8 and VAM of 1299.4.
Reasonable.
So that's pretty reasonable, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yes, that's the top male, and top female was Hooligan.
No stranger to the
stranger
leaderboard.
to the leaderboard.
No stranger to the leaderboard. Chasing that
She
every...
actually took
Com for the first K.
she took Gigante's comp for the first K.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah,
14:12 for Hooligan.
yeah, solid.
That's very solid. Just ripped 2 minutes out of my PB, which was about 5 years ago.
Yeah,
So-
what's her PB?
13:22.
Yeah, that's a
Solid
solid.
PB.
That's a solid PB.
Yeah.
Eh?
Nah, she goes all right.
All right. Did you want to handball over to the Wang for the men's?
Yeah. Way you go, Wayne. You do the men's.
Yeah. All right, what do we got here?
So in equal first,
So
but
equal first, potty favourite. It looks like all these top five are all on the same ride.
supers yesterday.
Supers. So he
Oh,
must have been
chopping off up there, were
yeah,
you?
good bunch. Yeah. So we had the beta averaging 411 watts, 166 beats per minute. He's rolled out a time of 12:48. His PB at 12:06. Next we have average watties at 401. So he's cracked the 400 watts this week. I think he was just shy of the 400 last week. Running it at 13 minutes even, so close to that sub 13. You'll have to go out there and try it again.
12:53.
Okay, now he's got a PB of 12:41 by the looks of it. We have mitosis. And then next, with a flat 13 minutes with a PB of 12:41. No data for this guy. We've got Mr. Filsma. And then fifth, we have 337
Massive PB.
watts. Yep, massive PB. He did have a bit of a lead out, but I
Was that
spoke
you?
to him. No,
No.
I spoke to him yesterday, and he actually did do a PB during the week as well. So he's rolled out a 13:04. Mr. Consistent was actually his lead out man. So
Wish I knew
I believe he wants a name change. So my dad has a huge son. Slide into our DMs and we'll get your name changed. And then lastly...
Who was that?
That has a huge son.
Oh, right.
And then lastly, we have Mr. Consistent, who's no stranger to the leaderboard. He's rolled out a 13:08 as just a lead-out machine yesterday. 454 watts average. Yesterday.
Have
And he's
a
got
beast.
PB at 12:26.
Dad does have a huge son.
and the
He's
women
got
this
huge
week-
watts.
Huge watts, yes.
Women this week with a 1542, 241 watts, 168 beats is R2 DR2. Second place, Savage Sweet Potatoes.
Just mentioned
done
that she did take a top 10 cup for the top half of Norton's yesterday.
Yeah, she was flying. Yep.
Yeah.
Kudos
On
to
mine
her.
and Zacky's
Was it
wheel.
tailwind yesterday or what?
Not when we went up.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
well done.
Headwind in the
Well
morning.
done, everyone.
Yeah.
Savage Sweet Potato did a 1639, 237 watts, 168 beats also. Shaquille Oatmeal did a PB at 1647, no power, but 180 beats per minute.
Yeah, she was working. And I did message her and said, did you get a PBSA? She goes, yeah, I was just mainly talking the most of the way up and into a headwind. So she's got plenty more into her. So
Fourth place, Suburban Yahoo, 1842 at 243 watts. And rounding us out this week is Cactus with a 2030.
what is she
So
doing?
maybe she's riding backwards with a puncher.
She's just
It's
cruising
195
yesterday.
watts, 142 beats
Yeah.
per minute. Nice work,
That's
team.
about my level at the moment.
This week, Wang, what day do we need to go up the summit?
Wang's weather, brought to you by Bikey Wipes. Wednesday Arvo will be the pick of the days. There'll be a southwesterly in the Arvo, as I just said. So, any more PBs, slide into the DMs and let us know.
All right, and looking ahead in the next week or so, Oz Cycling have got general track training at the Superdome on Wednesday the 30th. Copper Coast BMX, they're doing end of an era race meet at Kadena, 3rd of November. Inside Line Mountain Bike Club, it's November 2nd. They're doing the Chainless Charity Champs. That's at Fox Creek. Mount Gambier are doing their Spring Series Race 4. That's on November the 3rd. PACC doing Motor Pace Track and Road on the 31st of October. And then lastly, South Coast Cycling, Edwardstown Velodrome, 28th and 30th of October. They have junior training and general track training.
And we do have a break, obviously, on the Tuesday night and Wednesday night crits, with the track being out of action for all of November. And you didn't mention Super Series next weekend. Waipolonga.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about that?
Yeah. Next weekend, Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
You're up.
Yes. Should be a good weekend.
Next Saturday and Sunday, Oz Cycling, Super Series,
Super
Maipolonga.
Series, Maipolonga.
Drive up there Saturday, come home, drive up there Sunday.
Well, there's no place to stay up there unless you want to
Stay in Murray Bridge.
Not
Murray
much
Bridge.
You get a caravan.
there. Yeah, well, you can borrow the caravan and go
He
camping.
doesn't
Go camping on
Yeah,
the
go
river up
camping on
there.
the river.
Yeah. All those people could stay in their swags.
Such
And
a
that.
good sleep for a night
a
before a
race.
race, isn't it? To sleep in a swag.
toughen you up a bit.
Oh.
Ladies,
Boys.
gentlemen, boys, girls, and all creatures in between, we would love to thank our guests, Deck the Balls and Michelle, for
Thank you
coming
very
on the
much for
show.
coming.
Thank you for the invite.
You're welcome. And
Thank
even if it wasn't as soon as enough as when you got back, you were a bit dark on that, and you got to go on another podcast before coming on this one.
Yeah, I was.
Lots of good reports about that pod.
Oh, yeah.
Domestic. wasn't it?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Domestics, they were on it, which was good.
That was a good podcast. Now, if your listeners have enjoyed yourself, why don't you give us a follow through your favourite podcast app or access all our episodes through the YouTube as well. Please subscribe, hit the bell icon. Ding! And don't forget to tell all your friends and share it with everyone.
Yep, we're also all over the socials to give you updates, info, and let you know when new episodes are out, along with other podcast news and information. And if you want to support the pod, please head to our Buy Me a Coffee page. And if you donate, you'll get a shout out on the pod next week.
Now, we'd love your feedback and for you to know, we want to know your
Blah, blah,
thoughts.
blah, 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 blah.
So hit us up and let's have a chat through our Facebook or Instagram page, or shoot something through to our email, radeladesummit@gmail.com.
And with that, we hope to see you on the summit this week.
So no one. What about no one shouted you a coffee this week?
No, you
No.
can't shout
Oh.
out, no.
Come on, listeners, get
There
into
you
it.
go. You've been told by the Olympic coach.
Yeah,
Gold
yeah,
medal
yeah,
coach.
Yeah, there-
Maybe the Olympic coach can share your
Oh,
coffee.
there we go. Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
yeah.
Bye.